A little jiu-jitsu will go a long way in a fight. A lot of jiu-jitsu will change your life. Let me give you an example. The way this academy actually started 25 years ago, or a little bit more, was a bunch of Taekwondo students. My instructor, Jeff Hudson, and a few other guys, Vince Panzano, and a few Taekwondo black belts. They were training, and they came across this video, Gracie's in Action, the first Gracie's in Action. So they watched the video, they watched how jiu-jitsu worked against other martial arts, how it closed the distance, took them down, maintained a position on the top, and eventually submitted the guy. And just like so many other martial arts, standing martial arts at the time, martial artists that is, watched that video and said, that's not gonna work. And so they decided to try it. Just from what they saw on the video, they got together and they said, okay, let's see if this actually kind of works. Let's see if we can close the distance on each other and keep each other away like we think we can. And so they did that experiment without any training whatsoever, just from watching the concepts that they learned from the video. And every single time, they were able to close the distance and take their opponent to the ground. Now, that's powerful, just from watching the video. And of course, once that happened, they're like, man, maybe we need to call this Horan guy. And brought him out for a seminar. The rest is history. Here we are. So a little bit can go a very, very long way in a street fight. I remember my first lesson and the message that the instructor gave me right after the class stuck with me to this day. And I learned, it was an hour-long private lesson. It was some very simple stuff from what I remember: how to close the distance, how to, a basic leg hook takedown, a little bit of mount stabilization, maybe an arm lock and a choke or something like that, and a mount escape. So quite a bit for day one. But the instructor looked at me after the class was over and he said, and I don't know I can't remember if it was either a question or if it was a statement, but I remember it being true. And what he said was, the person who's leaving today, right now, could beat the guy that walked in an hour ago. And he was absolutely correct. Without a doubt in my mind, I know for certain that with an hour long of instruction, that I could beat the human that walked into the door an hour earlier. And that was powerful to me. And I got hooked right away. I was all in. You just couldn't keep me away from this stuff. I had to learn it. So what I mean by, and this is just one example, what I mean by a lot of jiu-jitsu will change your life. When I was younger, I didn't know how to fight. And, boys being boys, I was, in high school and even a little bit afterwards, people tend to assert themselves. Like bullies would kind of tend to, I didn't ever call them bullies at the time. I didn't really think of it in that term. We use that term a lot, but they were just jerks, right? They would assert themselves on me in a physical manner, not always beating me up, but they would push me, teasing here and there, and always with the threat of beating me up. And I was very, very good at using my words to kind of get myself out of the fight. I could use self-deprecating humor and kind of laugh it off, and I was very good at staying out of the fight. But I hated the way that they made me feel. When I walked away, I wish I had that power to fight them. I hated what they took from me. I hated the feeling of helplessness that I had inside. And when I started to learn this stuff, it started to change. It changed how I walked, how I dealt with people on a daily basis. It was powerful to the point where today, if somebody tries to assert themselves on me in that way and tries to dominate me, not necessarily physically, but verbally, with the threat of violence, I could use the same tactics, but I could walk away feeling fantastic. There's a certain level of tranquility that comes with that ability to defend yourself, truly know how to defend yourself. And that's powerful. That's what I mean. That's just one example. There's many, many things that jiu-jitsu can give you, and help change your life. I promise you, if you give it time. And so we had a gentleman come in the other day. He's a police officer. 30 years old. And he's like, man, I wish I really would have started this a long time ago. And I said, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is today. If you know somebody that really needs jiu-jitsu in their life, which is, in my opinion, everybody, okay, share this with them. Get them in. Be their advocate. Come to class with them. Tell them to come in and watch a class. Anything. Just get them involved. Get them into it. They deserve it. Shout out to my sponsors, Fuji. Shout out to my Scottish ancestors for the ability to grow an awesome beard. And shout out to you guys for liking, sharing, and subscribing to my videos. I hope to see y'all soon.